I pray that you'd help those who are finishing up the work to do it and do it well and safely. I pray it just brings another area, leveling up of the benefits of living in this city. Be with all that's going on tonight, and we ask this in your holy and wonderful name. Amen.
Amen.
Stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Thank you, Brian.
Pray that the spray works down
Okay.
there.
Is there any announcements, presentations, or public comment that is not on the agenda? Seeing none, hearing none, we will close the announcements, presentations, and public comment. We are now ready for the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Move to read new business by total only since there's no old business, Mayor.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to read new business by title only. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we will go right in. First item, demonstration of OpenGov Citizen Service Portal. Senior Planner Alex Gretchel.
Good evening, everyone. Alex Getchell, Senior Planner for the City of Franklin. I was asked to give a quick demonstration tonight of our online permitting portal and code enforcement portal. Hopefully you've heard about this by now, but give you a quick demonstration of what it looks like for the public and what it looks like for us as staff and how it's improved our lives in different ways. So first off, the portal website address is up there. It's also linked from our main city website as well. But very user-friendly portal here. When you go to the site, this is a place where we can now accept all building permit applications, sign permitting applications, any right-of-way street cuts that happen throughout the city can be submitted through here. Board of Zoning Appeals and Plan Commission. And as well as code enforcement complaints can all be submitted through this site. Very quick and easy process for all of this, just by clicking on any of these. For instance, the building and land disturbance permitting can go in there, and then there's multiple options here. In this case, for residential permits, non-residential permits, land disturbance, demolition, and the like. For instance, Plan Commission. We've got our calendar up there for all the meeting dates for reference everybody when they're applying. Now that we don't have any hard copy applications, they're having to go here to find the information, so we have it all readily available to them. And then they can apply for any of these different types of applications through the site. So I wanted to also give you a quick look at what it looks like on the employee side. This isn't just a place for applications to get submitted. It's essentially our whole workflow that we go through as staff when we work on any of these different types of applications. So on here, if we go to the Explore tab here, we can see all the active records that are currently outstanding through the system. So just looking at the numbers here, we can already see that we have 115 building permit applications that have already been submitted through the system since the beginning of the year, and we already have over 400 code enforcement cases that are in process. I'm going to go ahead and pick on, let's see, I know of one, so let me get to it here. I was going to pick on, we can filter it down from all departments into just like building permitting here. Where did it go? The one I was going to pick on now is not in the list, of course. There it is. So this ILP 22108, we can see on here on the left it shows us all the details of the request. So over on the right-hand side here we have the location of the work, ownership information, project details. So in this case it's for an accessory structure, a detached garage, value of the projected construction, square footage, all these different information that we typically would have had filled out on a hard copy application. They're all now submitted electronically. With that, we also have under the attachments where they can submit their site plan and their building plans. And then we now get digital copies of the building plans. So we can see those on our screen. We can review these quicker and with less paperwork moving through the office. Additionally, with this, when these applications come in, our secretary will actually do the first step here, which you see as the intake review, and make sure that it has the information it's supposed to have. Once it does, she'll approve that, and then it automatically gets sent off to our building official for review, and then it gets sent off to one of the planners, so either Joanna or I, and then we can both review it at the same time. So it saves a lot of time for applicants. Our processing of permits is definitely picked up in pace as a result of this. We don't have to wait for a file to get passed around from desk to desk. It goes to both of us at the same time. So the other thing I wanted to touch on here is this location. All the records get tied back to a location, so we can go and actually view each of these locations. So we can see on this one when it pulls up here, we get a map of it, the Google Street View of it, and then we also have all the record history associated with that actual address from the past. So all of our historical data was also pulled in with this. So we can see here the active permit that we were just demonstrating for you. We also see there was a violation last year. There was BZA in 2018, and then some other building permits. But it just goes to show that it's very smart software, and then it ties it back to this lot. So we can go back in time anytime we get a new permit and see what else has been done there previously. So it ties everything back together. And then also on the, let me get the right tab here. Back to the public side, there's search features here. This main one here is mainly for finding different application types. So if you're looking for a building permit, you just type a few letters and it already pops up with the type of permit that you're wanting to apply for. Or if you're doing BZA, or if you're trying to do a sign permit, it pops up there. But if you go into the search at the top right, you can do a search by address. So if we do that 250, I think it was North Water, was that one. It'll pull up that location again that we were just looking at and give us all the records there again. Or we can do a search by record. And this is all public here, so any citizen or any individual can go on here at any time and pull up any of these records, and all this information is readily available to them. So it's very transparent as to what's been submitted and what's out there. So if I type in this permit real quick, 108 I think it was, pull that up, we can get a look at what the record looks like on the public side. The outward facing part. This one actually hasn't been approved yet, but you can see all that same information is here readily available to anyone at any time. You don't have to have a login to see this information, so it's very transparent. And if I go back to the employee side one more time here real quick, I can pull some of this information up because I know this happened a little bit ago. So the other benefit here is that payments can be made online as well. So applicants don't have to come into the office to submit checks or to pay by credit card or anything. They can do it all online themselves. They don't have to call in either. It saves from having to give out your credit card number over the phone or anything like that if you're uncomfortable with that. So if I click on one of these, it'll pull it up where the payment was made. We can get, when the payment's made, it'll issue them a receipt automatically online that they can print out. Additionally, and open another window, it also issues documents at the exact same time. So as soon as payment is made, it will issue a document. In this case, it's the park impact fee document, because this is a new home construction. It'll also issue the sanitary sewer permit fee, and this is our building permit. And then here's the sanitary sewer permit connection. So these all get issued automatically. And then once they have their permits, they can schedule the inspections online as well. so they don't have to come into the office, they don't have to call into the office. And they can schedule it here. We can assign it to whichever inspector we want, just by simply typing in who we want it to go to and clicking on their name if they're in the system. So assigning a date and time for those. And then whenever the inspector has completed the inspection, they mark it complete in here where it says active. They just change this drop down to complete, and then instantly the next step becomes active to the applicant. And they find out the results of their inspection instantly. So there's no waiting until the end of the day or sending somebody out to the site to see what the inspector marked on the card. They get notification automatically. And one thing I do want to do real quick, show, hit print on this real quick, just so we can show it. On all of the documents that get issued through the system, there's this QR code that gets placed at the top of each of the documents, and anyone can scan that code because this permit will still need to be posted on site. So anybody can walk up to that permit and scan it, and it will give them that public-facing record of this record. So they can see the results of the inspection as well. They can see all the information related to those permits. So that's in a jiffy, very quick, the software, but there is multiple layers to it. Each one of these steps here on the left represents a different workflow in our office. So we had to really look at how we go through each permit, not just building permits, but each function, each BZA or plan commission, and what steps of the process are there, and outline them so that we could have a logical flow to it all. So.
Having worked with the Planning Commission and the BZA for years, I know that staff took a tremendous amount of time to find the right system, did a lot of reaching out to our users, to residents, and most importantly, to other groups. We tried to learn by their mistakes from other municipalities, and the feedback has been all positive that I have gotten from users, because they can do it now online, and it's much quicker. And
yeah, we've gotten a lot of feedback too from people using it, and they seem to very, very much like it. In the beginning, when we first rolled out with it at the beginning of the year, we were dealing with primarily sign contractors because they deal with a lot of different jurisdictions. But they were saying, as soon as we told them we went on to the online, they're like, which one did you do? And I told them it was the one like Fishers actually has. This is the same system that Fishers uses. And they said, oh, good, you chose the right one. So people are very happy with it. So, and we're happy with it so far. So.
Alex, will people have the opportunity to still come in?
Yes.
Good,
We
okay.
do still have that option. We don't accept any hard copies anymore. It is all still online. We ordered, back at the beginning of the year, we did order a workstation for the front counter so that they could submit their application. We can work with them at the front counter to submit their application, because at the end of the day, we want them to be able to do this, because all their inspections are going to be through the system as well. So we want to get them on there and help them through it. That workstation has not come in yet due to the chip crisis, I'm sure, because I don't know what's going on, but we haven't gotten it yet, but that is the plan, and we are still helping people get things online submitted.
Okay.
Anybody else? Thank you, Alex. Appreciate it.
Maybe I need
Get those closed down.
Okay. Item number 2, Common Council Resolution number 22-05, ERA confirmatory.
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 Now you got me doing it. Confirmatory resolution.
Confirmatory for Alnair RE LLC, Common Council Resolution number 22-06, RE tax abatement for Alnair RE LLC, Community Development Specialist Dana Monson.
Good evening. Yes, if you will recall, at our last meeting, you did approve the declaratory resolution for the ERA designation for the 2 parcels. As a reminder, they are located on the southwest corner of Graham and Paul Hand Road. This is for a new industrial park that is proposed by the Alnair developers. There will be a total of 272 acres and potentially up to 8 new buildings. The first building that is proposed is for 1 million square feet, as we discussed last time. The site is annexed and zoned for this industrial development. It is also in an opportunity zone, and the use does conform with the city land use and the comp plan. So tonight, we are here first for a public hearing on the ERA, and then a vote on the confirmatory, and we are also here then for the tax abatement. Melissa Johnson is here tonight from the company. She does have a short presentation for you. So I'd like to ask Ms. Johnson, would you go ahead and come up, and I will let you, I've got too many folders tonight. There.
Good evening. Thank you, Dana. As Dana mentioned, I'm Melissa Johnson. I'm Vice President of Real Estate for Al Nair. Wanted to offer a very, very brief introductory kind of presentation about the company and the proposed project, and answer any questions if that's appropriate, or we can, do that at whatever time. I think Tara is going to drive for me in the back. So just a little bit about the company quickly. We are headquartered in Cincinnati. Regrettably, the Reds have not improved since I was here last time.
How do you lose a no-hitter?
I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. But aside from that, we are headquartered in Cincinnati, and we're a 125-year-old company. We are a design-build firm, so we have architecture and pre-construction in-house, as well as full-service real estate development services, which is my team, as well as a capital team who focuses on debt and equity to source and support our projects. We're also in the middle of raising our own $300 million industrial fund to support our projects. We are employee-owned, which gives our senior leadership the opportunity to invest in our own projects and kind of really put our own kind of money, if you will, where we believe that these projects are successful and certainly fruitful. We have a regional growth strategy out of the Cincinnati market, which does encompass Columbus, Ohio, Louisville, Kentucky, and Indianapolis. We also have other offices in Raleigh, Nashville, and Pittsburgh. Next slide, please. I did want to just introduce a little bit of our experience, since we are new to your community, and we very much look forward to working with you. I will just say before we get to the full site plan that investment from a land acquisition of this magnitude is significant for us. It's kind of deviates slightly from our strategy and what we have normally done in other markets, and by and large, it's just that we believe that this market is right for us, and we're willing to commit to this scale and have a long-term relationship with the community. That's also really very important to us. So these few slides are representative of, we try to pick similar size and scale and current relevant projects. This one is in Northern Kentucky. This was 3 buildings that we delivered in kind of around the airport in that area. 2 of the buildings have sold, with a third one that is ready for sale. They're all occupied, with some of the tenant names listed here, with Perfetti Van Mel, which is the maker of Airheads. Levi Strauss, and Coca-Cola. So this has been a really successful project for us. We had an institutional partner that was invested with us through Hillwood. Next slide. This project, I think, is most similar to what we're proposing. Certainly, it's near size and acreage. We also have 7 total buildings proposed here at about 2.9 million square feet. This project is active and ongoing. Our institutional partner here is Clarion, and we're expected to close on this project with them in June. We'll deliver the first building, which I think will be about 125,000 square feet, with an 800,000 square foot investment to follow. This is along the I-75 corridor in North Cincinnati. This project also does contemplate the use of incentives for tax abatement and tax increment financing. In Airport North, also located in Northern Kentucky, this is in active construction. This is one that we have ongoing. Interestingly enough, the 2 buildings here are already under purchase agreement for sale upon completion, with 2 users that I'm not able to yet name, but names you certainly would recognize. So we're actively working with each of those end users to deliver the buildings in September, and then subsequently a second building after the first of the year. So wanted to just kind of call out this project as one that is active, and we're seeing a lot of interest and activity in the market to support the continued investment in that area. And lastly, this is probably not terribly like one that we might be proposing here, but wanted to just kind of demonstrate to you our continued corporate relationships. This is a project out of our Nashville office in Tennessee. This is REI. I believe they're pursuing LEED Platinum, which has been a really interesting project for our company to lean in, learn from them, incorporate, standards that, certainly hopefully meet, if not exceed, their expectations with this particular project, which is under construction and should be delivered here in short term. I also think it's important, I think I shared with some of your Economic Development Commission that I have an economic development background. So I spent nearly 24 years of my career in public service. So I very much appreciate what a community's corporate presence looks like, how you grow that, the aesthetics of real estate in your community, and wanted to be able to demonstrate to you the type of product. This is a little bit of mix from, industrial warehouse or, logistics, e-commerce to true manufacturing. We listen very closely to the community and our clients and to demonstrate, what kind of feel, what kind of aesthetic that they'd like to introduce into their community, and thought that aside from renderings, it might be easier to show you some of our, actual end product. So I won't speak too much on this, just to say that this is the entire conceptual development plan. Will be responsive, to the market as it evolves, but this is currently what we propose. Phase 1 is in blue, which is what we're here to consider tonight. The total investment over the life of the 48 to 60 months is about $300 million for us. We do note that there are public infrastructure improvements at $5.6 million, which we continue to talk to the community about, and have those lean in with the mayor and to make sure that we're satisfying some of the interest along those lines. Next slide. And then lastly, this is just more pointedly some detail around Phase 1, which is, again, what we're here to discuss tonight. We appreciate your consideration and support of, the tax abatement. The project, again, like I said, of this magnitude certainly does make this type of product more competitive to be able to carry that, economic development incentive and benefit with it. But I'm happy to answer questions when
Kinda like
that might be
home run.
appropriate. But I appreciate your time.
Like that as a planned community.
Public hearing for the first thing is the ERA. We need to have a little
Yes,
public hearing. If there's
correct.
anybody has a question about the ERA designation. And then we'll go to the tax abatement.
Confirmatory.
Confirmatory.
Confirmatory, yes, so we do need the public hearing. This is
So at this
duly
time, we will
advertised.
open it up for public hearing on the ERA confirmatory resolution.
Dana?
Is there anybody have any questions from the public? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing for the ERA. And I think now we're ready.
You can vote on that,
Correct.
Kinda like Disney.
unless the board has any questions.
Any questions on the ERA from the board? Hearing none, I think we're ready to.
Mayor, I'd make a motion to approve the ERA the ERA designation.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, hearing none, now we go on to Resolution 22-06, the tax abatement.
Correct. This is a request for a 10-year tax abatement on the real property. The company is amenable to the 2% economic development fee. As we said, this is for the first building on that project. They did come actually twice before the EDC to help us understand their project and understand exactly what they were doing. Mr. Taylor was there. I don't know if you have any further comments, sir.
No, nothing new from what we talked over the last meeting, but we did pick through it pretty extensively for 2 meetings, and we felt really good about the project moving forward.
Anybody else? So do we need, can we vote on this one tonight?
Yes, it's
So-
ready for your action.
Okay, so do we have a public hearing on this one?
You don't have to, but you normally ask if anybody in the audience has any questions.
I would like to, if, we will open this up to public hearing. If anybody has a comment or question, feel free. Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. So I think we're ready for action or questions, comments, either way.
10.
10.
Move to approve 2206 RE tax abatement.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item, Common Council Resolution Number 22-07, Tax Abatement Real Property NSK Corporation, and Common Council Resolution Number 22-08, Tax Abatement Personal Property NSK Corporation, Community Development Specialist Dana Monson.
Good evening again. As you know, NSK Corporation and NSK Precision are both very long-time companies, very great community partners that are located here in Franklin. They came before the EDC last week requesting both real and personal property abatements. Each company is requesting abatement, so because they are two separate companies, we do have to do these two separately. However, Mr. Kyle Steens is here tonight, and Kyle, I believe you're representing both companies, is that correct? So I would like to ask Mr. Steens to come up. He can give you some further information about this program and about this project and what we're hoping to accomplish with this. So.
Thank you, Dana. Good evening. Again, my name is Kyle Steens. I'm the Director of Operations for NSK Corporation, specifically our automotive, America's Automotive Business Unit. So we have another plant in Indiana, Liberty, Indiana, and one in central Mexico, which I'm also responsible for. Matt Smrelli is also here from NSK, Assistant Plant Manager of the NSK Precision building, which is the second business that we also have on our property. So as Dana mentioned, we are here to request your support and tax abatement for 5-year capital plan projects at both locations that we call the Franklin Hub Plant, the automotive business, of $30 million total projects, and at the NSK Precision America, those capital projects equal about $9 million worth of spending over that 5-year term. So were you going to show the presentation material, or just want me to speak to it?
Just speak to it.
Okay, very good. Most of our capital projects, or many of our capital projects, are related to renewal of existing capacities that we have in our operations. We've been operating here now for well over 25 years. Some of those assets are in need of reinvestment and modernizing. We have some obsolete parts that make maintaining some of that equipment quite challenging. Much of it also is related to improving our safety within those operations and also achieving a superior quality level. So much of our automation effort in our plants is related to improving, reducing the burden on our operators in terms of lifting weight, reach, and things like that. From a quality point of view, we have a great history with our Tier 1 automotive customers. We are presently satisfying their quality needs very well. However, we are looking to increase our competitive advantage in achieving some superior levels of quality by automating some of our inspection processes as well. I shared several photos and other examples with the EDC group last week. Additionally, in our NPA Precision America plant, we will be expanding some of our capacities with new modern machining equipment, different examples that were provided to them as well. So we did answer some questions with the EDC group regarding labor challenges, and so that's been something that has been, for many businesses and across the country and here locally. We did provide quite a few details about our struggles with recruitment, and we also emphasized our efforts for that recruitment, but also the successful retention activities that we have been working on and enhancing. So specifically to the area, first and foremost in our company culture is safety. You should know that in 2021, between our two plants, we had 3 minor injuries, very minor injuries, no lost time accidents, and our total recordable incident rate was less than 0.5. Industry average is more like 3. So we are operating very safely. We did that through a lot of work to eliminate high-risk operations, including things like machine guarding and such, and really focusing on high severity, high risk. Also worked on our leadership and supervisory development. NSK has a couple of programs that we've developed, one around a Crucial Conversations program, which many of our supervisors and leaders have attended, as well as an in-house program we call Leaders in Motion. So many of our leaders and supervisors are benefiting from that program. A lot of focus also on technical training, providing pay incentives for cross-training, as well as partnering with Ivy Tech in a co-op program for a manufacturing certificate. We have 14 participants on our campus within that program. We aim to pull from that pool for our promotional opportunities in our technical teams. We also worked in our facilities, improving our environment, such as adding air conditioning to our warehouse, which was a big one, improving our lighting and air filtration as well. We've also worked on our wage. So we've provided 2 wage increases in 2021 and another already in 2022. So we've successfully increased our wage across to support our retention efforts. And then as we are talking here tonight about our request for abatement specifically related to engineering improvements, as I mentioned earlier, most of our activities are related towards automation for safety and quality, and also reducing skill requirements that go into operating our lines. Our product's a highly engineered product, and as you can imagine, the equipment is very complicated, and it is a little bit difficult to learn. So that's part of our challenge, is being able to retain and train hourly operators in a length of period that will provide us a benefit for our operations. So with that, I do request your support, and thank you for hearing us today.
Thank you.
Any questions?
So, sir, it looks like you're retaining, or you're increasing 13 positions. Sean, you have anything else to add?
No, I say I found it really interesting because that's one of our biggest things is the jobs and how they're doing it, and their willingness to work with the community, work with Ivy Tech to grow those programs, to basically build their own employees from the ground up, because they do have to be so precise with their bearings and things that in that nature. So they're really working with Ivy Tech. They've reached out to C9 and working with some of those folks as well. So it's they're a great partner for the community as well. They also went through a number of things of their philanthropy within the community and showed us, how they give back in different ways to the community. So, investing $40 million more into the company and giving back to the city is they've been a great partner for the city for a long time.
You knocked it out of the park with the United Way today. You got the big plaque.
Good,
You got the
right?
big plaque, I saw
I
that.
didn't mention that. We might have raised a little money for United Way as well.
Yeah, you did. I got a free lunch, but,
Awesome.
yeah,
We had some of our team members join that this afternoon, so they had a good time.
it was good.
I believe we can act on this tonight.
Yes, you can. You can act, but you usually ask
Step
if
out
there's
of
any.
your way.
So before we act, I do want to open it up for public comment. If someone has something to say or a question to ask, feel free. Hearing none, we will close public comment.
Thank you. The first 2 resolutions are for the NSK Corporation, so that's for this particular business. 2022-07 is real property. They are requesting the 10-year abatement on $1,380,000 of investment with a 2% economic development fee. They are also requesting the 10 years on $28,654,000 investment in personal property with a 5% economic development fee. This has already been designated as an ERA, so we do not have to do that designation. So this is ready for your approval for this evening.
Sean, you guys agreed on the 10-year for the 1 point.
Yes, yeah, because of all the things. Ultimately, it's come back that they've been such a community partner, and to give them that 10 years, we thought was a good idea.
I didn't notice in the report, was it a unanimous EDC
Yes, it was.
decisions on both?
Yes,
Yes.
it was.
Thank you.
It was discussed about the 7 and changing years, but we felt the 10 was, with them being such a good community partner, was good for them.
Makes sense.
And the real property investments are there because of the new equipment that is coming in that's going to support the $20 million investment as well.
Do we need a motion on each one separately?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve Common Council Resolution 22-09.
07, sir.
07, excuse me. Apologize.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on resolution number 22-07. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, I think we're now ready to talk about 22-08, personal property abatement.
Yes, sir. So again, the same thing, 10 years, 5% economic development fee.
It's a big number.
Yes.
I would move to approve Common Council 2208 tax abatement.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Thank you. Good job on that one. Now we got one more to go. So,
Correct. We don't need to have Mr. Steens come back up again, as he did this presentation for both. But again, NSK Precision is the second company that is located on Bering Drive here. They're just equally good partners. They are amazing community members and supporters. They are requesting a 10-year real property abatement on $1,882,000 investment with 2% economic development fee, and a 10-year personal property abatement on $7,183,000 investment with a 2% or with a 5%, economic development fee. Again, this is already an ERA, so we do not have to worry about that. This has already been designated, and this is available for action tonight.
so on the first one, we will have a public hearing on, I will open it up, public hearing on resolution number 22-09, tax abatement, real property, NSK Precision. So the public is your turn. If you have any questions or comments. Hearing none, we will close the public hearing, and we are ready for questions or actions on resolution number 22-09.
I'd move to approve Common Council Resolution number 2209.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, hearing none, we will now go to Common Council Resolution 22-10, tax abatement for personal property, NSK Precision. I will now open this one up for public hearing, if there's any questions or comments. Hearing none, we will close the public hearing and ready for the council's action or more comments.
Move to approve Common Council Resolution 22-10.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval of resolution number 22-10. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Glad to hear it. You've been great community partners, and Kyle, I know we've had many conversations, so thank you. Okay, next item, number 2022 Economic Development Fees Grant Award, Community Development Specialist Dana Monson.
Yes, so this is going to vary just slightly from what you originally had. Just a little bit of back information for the public here as well. Every year, as you know, the companies that receive abatements do voluntarily pay the economic development fee that we just discussed, which is generally 2% on real property and 5% on personal property for the savings for that year. That's what that percentage is based on. This year's total is $33,722.87. So every year with those funds, the Economic Development Commission sends out grant requests, grant applications to 5 various nonprofits who are working specifically in the city on economic development activities. This year, we did receive 2 applications, one from the Franklin Development Corporation and one from Discover Downtown Franklin. The Franklin Development Corporation is a project on 650 Hurricane Street. It is the rehabilitation of probably the worst house on the block. Krista's a very proud owner of that. So our purpose, the purpose of the FDC in receiving this property is to be able to rehab this, turn this into an affordable single-family home, just as the FDC was able to do on 280 Circle Drive. As you can see, it's just in lovely shape. So lots of great plans and great ideas for that one. The second project from Discover Downtown Franklin is a Bicentennial Alley project. If you are not aware, next year is the bicentennial anniversary for both the city of Franklin and Johnson County. As part of that, we are looking at several different art projects, different things that we can do that will help celebrate that event, bring some more art to the community. So Discover Downtown Franklin is proposing a bicentennial alley project in which hopefully it'll go down the Art Craft Alley, which is shown there, but it will essentially be freestanding structure that will consist of poles that will go straight down the alley. It will have lines overhead. There will be 200 stars placed there, and the stars will be representative of all the different communities in the county that will be there for the duration of the celebration time. At the end of the time with that, or 2 years, roughly however long those stars last, those stars could actually be taken down. The permanent structure will remain, and they could do another project. They could do kites. They could do lights for the holiday lighting, different things like this. So it will have a very long-term impact. So the EDC met. They really struggled with this because what they said was they really wanted to support both projects. They really wish they could fund both. Unfortunately, they only had the $33,000, and each group was requesting $30,000. So each group was basically needing the entire amount. At their meeting last week, they voted to split this and give an equal amount to each group. That's what you have in your report. Now I have a little twist. I talked to Ms. Gray. I am allowed to do this tonight.
I love it when she begins my Monday morning with conundrum. I've got a conundrum.
Yeah, kind of did.
Yeah.
After the EDC met and after I had already submitted this for the agenda tonight, the Franklin Development Corporation Board came together to look at what's a possible solution to help both of these projects get where they need to be. So what they are proposing, and Krista, if you want to chime in anytime, please feel free because all the acronyms. The Franklin Development Corporation would like to provide a grant to the Discover Downtown Franklin for $33,000. Then they are requesting in return that the $33,000 from the EDC fees would go all to the Franklin Development Corporation. The reason why this works and the reason why we kind of have to do this in this fashion is because the Franklin Development Corporation, as you know, is funded through the Redevelopment Corporation and the TIF funds. Those funds can only be expended in the specific allocation area of which the downtown is and where the alley project would happen. 650 Hurricane is outside of that boundary, so they cannot use their programming funds on 650 Hurricane. However, the EDC funds do not have that stipulation, so they could use the full amount on the Hurricane Street project. So what I am requesting tonight is a request to approve giving the full $33,000 to the Franklin Development Corporation, subject to the final approval coming from the Redevelopment Corporation and the Economic Development Corporation, as this does change what their recommendation was. Mr. Taylor is here tonight. I sent him an email, very long email about all of this last week, so he got the conundrum too.
Yeah.
Share the love. So, Mr. Taylor, I don't know if you have any comments or,
No.
And you meet tomorrow morning, right?
No.
no,
No, it's-
RDC meets
RDC
tomorrow.
meets
Yeah, we
RDC's
haven't met-
first.
We won't meet again until next month, right?
Right.
Yeah. So both projects were great projects for the city, so, and, you know, I'm not going to speak for those guys, but after they were brought to us that, and we decided to just split it down the middle, they said they could both work with that, but now they're able to do this. I think it's the best way to expend the money.
Yeah, from a legal standpoint, you just make it subject to those other boards, you can certainly do it. But I think it was a wonderful collaboration when they all presented it to me. And, all right, the FDC can't use the money where they want to, but they can use the money from the EDC, and then they can turn around and the FDC can give it to DDF, who can use it in this particular district. So it gets accomplished for both with the same money.
Yeah, we have some very clever board members, and Krista worked hard on that, and she did a great job coming up with this. Yeah, well, yeah, Lisa Jones brought it up originally.
If it works, it's their idea. If not, it's mine. If it fails miserably, it was my idea.
So because the Franklin Development Corporation, as Dana mentioned, we get our funding from the Redevelopment Commission. And when that funding comes to the Franklin Development Corporation, it's specific for facade grants and loans and our residential program, just those specific programs. So Rob Shafstall, the redevelopment commission's legal attorney, suggested that because this is a little bit different project for the alley installation, even though it's in the TIF district, that the Franklin Development Corporation should request permission to spend those funds, those grant funds, a little bit differently of the redevelopment commission. And that meeting is tomorrow morning in this room at 8 o'clock. And so that's why the request is contingent on their permission to let us use those funds a little bit differently than they were originally granted for. But it is eligible use, it just,
Right. But you probably want to make it contingent upon their approval and also ratification by the EDC, because their first proposal was splitting it. And you certainly, with all this cooperation, we certainly don't want to just do it without consulting with them.
And one of the things that was mentioned at the EDC meeting as well is, you know, we're not in the business to go out and flip houses or the FDC is not in the business to do that necessarily. We've taken on the projects that we have because these are blighted properties that nobody else wants. And when we invest money into this property, we're probably not going to make all of our money back. So these extra funds will help us be able to provide an affordable house in the area and hopefully help fix that whole neighborhood up.
You start getting taxes on it, you may make your money back. Is this a tax sale certificate? Was this one? This
No,
one?
we actually purchased this beautiful property for $17,000 in 2020. And one thing that I promised the mayor that I would mention, and I forgot, the money that the Franklin Development Corporation would put towards the alley installation is money that the Franklin Development Corporation already has. We're not requesting additional funds from the redevelopment commission. So these are dollars that we already have for programming that could go to a facade grant or to a low interest loan that we would then instead use for the alley. We have right under $1 million available in programming right now. We have a couple pending applications, but nothing near the $1 million that we have available in programming. So just want to make sure I covered that.
Dana, I have a question regarding the hurricane property.
Yes, sir.
Is the intent of that making that a owner-occupied house?
Yes, I believe that what they will do is the same thing, and Krista can probably answer this better than I, but I think they're going to be putting some deed restrictions, and it's for five years
5 years.
for a single family,
Okay, similar to the other
owner-occupied.
ones we've been
Yeah,
doing?
what we did with
Correct,
Circle Drive.
yes.
We did.
Yes, exactly the same. As Lisa said, I mean, the reality with building costs and everything else that are coming up, to do what really needs to be done to fix this up could possibly push that price point past affordable. By having these funds, the $33,000, that helps to keep that in that more affordable price range as well. And hopefully, we can have the same success with this as we did with 280 Circle Drive, which was sold to a teacher from Whiteland, a young teacher. So this was able to get her actually into home ownership for the first time, whereas otherwise she probably, without 280 Circle Drive being the way it was, I don't think she would have been able to do that.
Good. So you need a motion for approval?
Yeah,
What the-
subject
to-
to contingent upon approval by the RDC and ratification by the EDC.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'll draw you a flow chart.
Good job. Your first step's done.
First step's done.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
I'm gonna sit
Dana.
down now.
Right.
Okay, next item, Common Council Budgetary Resolution Number 22-06, authorizing a transfer from the CCI Fund Capital to the CCI Fund Service in the amount of $20,000. IT Director Rick Littleton.
Good evening, everyone. This is a request, as the mayor read, to transfer already appropriated monies in our CCI fund. It's currently budgeted every year in capital. The projects that we have going on presently are more service-related and oriented. So we're just requesting to move that money into the appropriate line item for services.
And since it's not new money, we can do this tonight.
Yep,
That's
it's a
correct,
resolution,
yep.
no appropriation. We can move it.
So any questions for Rick?
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we will go to the next item, Common Council Budgetary Resolution Number 22-07, authorizing a transfer from Donations Park Senior Center Fund Services to Donations Park Senior Center Fund Supplies in the amount of $2,000. Park Superintendent Chip Horner.
We discussed this one last time too. It's just moving money from one category to another. It's in a gift fund too, so.
So this one here, we did bring this up at the last meeting, is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
So I'm going to open this one up for a public hearing. If anyone has any comments or questions for Chip? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing.
It's ready for action, sir.
Move to approve Common Council Budgetary Resolution Number 22-07.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Okay. Next item, Common Council Budgetary Ordinance Number 22-11, an additional appropriation from the ARPA Grant Funds Capital 2401-001-400 in the amount of $303,392.50. Clerk Treasurer Jane Rhodes.
Yes, sir. This is for introduction only. It's our ARPA money that we've received. As the grant, the ordinance said, we have received bills from Cripe and also from Genesis. They're both working on Fire Station 21 rehab. So now we need to pay those bills. Appropriate grant back next.
Okay, and I think they're getting closer to putting the project out for bid pretty soon, so it's moving forward. Okay, next item, request permission to apply for the IDHS Local Training Support Grant, Fire Chief Matt Culp. We're going to take this one.
Yeah.
He has withdrawn this one from the board, or from the council. We took care of that at the Board of Works, which he is going to apply for the grant. So we are taking that one off the agenda. And there isn't any other business, so we'll go into council comments. Council President, Mr. Austin.
I don't have anything tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Bob Hukin.
Nothing tonight, sir. Thank you.
Mrs. Lisa Jones.
Just looking forward to a fun weekend. And fingers crossed that everything goes smoothly with the amphitheater opening.
Testing, testing, testing.
Yeah.
The water part.
Oh, well, okay.
Okay, Irene? do you
No,
have-
no, thank you.
Okay, Josh, Brian?
I just wanted to say thanks to Chip and everybody that's put a tremendous amount of hours and efforts into the amphitheater. It's amazing. I'm down there all the time checking it out and everything. I think we're going to have a great time with it, so.
Thank you. Sean Taylor, Vice President.
Thank you. The other big thing, have a little graduation this weekend at the high school, so watch out for all the kids running around. They're graduating 10 o'clock on Saturday.
Your daughter's one
Yep.
of them.
Yeah, that's the only reason I know.
Riding around golf carts.
Jane? Nothing? Tara? Okay, Ms. Gray?
Chip, don't worry if the band doesn't show up. Steve and I are still available. We'll back up. We'll be there. We'll be there.
Yeah, they throw tomatoes at us,
I know. We'll clear that place out like that.
I don't have anything to add tonight. I'm just looking forward to getting the amphitheater opened up. I know all of us are looking forward to that and move on. Let's get something for our public to enjoy and use and see the kids on the playground and in the splash pad and people playing pickleball. And I have a funny feeling this is going to be used quite a bit. So looking forward to it. So with that being said, need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Kids jumping in the
Leanne, do not
creek.
put that in the paper.